formula for engagement from a neurological perspective is first and foremost a child needs to feel understood. Now if they feel understood, their self-esteem soars, their confidence grows, then they will engage back. Now conversely, if they don't feel understood, self-esteem plummets, confidence goes, we could lose them for the lesson, the term, their entire school career. So getting them engaged and keeping them engaged is vital to building those really interesting working relationships. So how do we do that? Well, I've been working with young people for over 25 years, and whenever I get a group, and they're normally a large group of kids, most of them don't even want to be there sometimes, it's imperative that I spend time understanding the stories of the people in the room. So as fast as I can, I'll ask as many questions as I can to sort of glean how they think, how they're behaving, how they're responding to what I'm doing, that's going to help me feed into that learning environment, help me create sessions that are going to keep them engaged as much as possible. So I'm constantly feeling out for what's going on in the room. And I also never underestimate the knowledge in the room. So I always like to ask as many questions to find out what they want from the sessions. You know, do they want to leave 5 minutes early? Do they want to have a chat with a mate? Do they just want to have a laugh? Do they want to learn something new? All that stuff's going to be really useful for me to keeping them engaged constantly throughout the learning session. Motivation is really key as well. What motivates these kids? And that normally, I'll take them outside of school for that, thinking about where they want to be later on in life, you know, stuff they want to do in their life, careers, do they want to travel, do they want to have some cash, a home, families, whatever it is, anything at all. Understanding that story, the stories of the people in the room, anything at all is going to help me be able to bring that back into that learning environment and help link it to the learning in the session that's going to keep them engaged. There are many techniques I use. One of the best techniques I've used over the last 25 years is something called RING. And RING is basically the 4 conditions for great memorable learning. Relevant, interesting, naughty, and a giggle. 4 conditions that are going to help make the sessions as interesting for those kids as possible to help connect that learning and keep them engaged. R stands for relevant and real. Even more now than ever, kids need to know why they're doing something. I always remember, even back to my school days, there was so many kids were always going, what's this for? Why are we doing this? So the more we can make it relevant and real to them, how can we bring that world around them back into the classroom? How can we connect it to them? I was always told that you learn with your heart first and then your head. If your heart's not engaged, your head doesn't work as well. So how can we get them emotionally engaged in what's going on around them? Best way to do that is connect it to their lives in some way, shape or form. That's going to keep them interested because they can see the benefits of learning this and where it's going to take them later on in life. So the more relevant really is, the more likely they are to engage. It's got to be interesting. You know, every day we all need to go, ooh, about something once. For instance, I found out recently that 14 people a year in this country are killed by vending machines. Who'd have thunked it? But interesting, that can be anything from just giving them a factoid they never thought about or bringing something tangible into the classroom they can look at, you know, something that's going to pique their interest and keep them engaged constantly throughout the session. It's got to be naughty. When I use the word naughty, obviously, you need to understand the audience in front of you. But naughty means risk-taking, challenging, feeling like you're working outside the rules. Kids really respond well to that. And that can be anything, again, from just saying something different, showing them something they weren't expecting to see, having the classroom set up in a completely different way. I remember at junior school, I walked into my classroom once and there was 2 guys stood there in a short sleeve shirts and basically saying, welcome to so-and-so airlines, today we're going to Africa. And I believed them. And I went through a door, just a wooden door, but they completely stripped the classroom of desks. I had to go and have my bag checked, and then we had to sit in the chairs, we're put in rows like they do on an airplane, to sit in the chairs pretending I was on a flight, where we got the safety demonstration, which gave the other fella enough time to go around and put on his grass skirt. So when we got off the plane at the end, he just went, welcome to Africa. I mean, it wasn't very PC, but I went home that night. My mum said, what did you do today? And I said, I went to Africa. I believed her. Now that was in the same classroom I was in every day, but for some reason, just changing that classroom around just made it completely new. It was surprising, it was interesting, it was relevant, and I've never forgotten it. And I'm 47, and this was about 30 odd years ago. So relevant, interesting, naughty, and finally a giggle. As much as we can to bring a human to the classroom, and that involves asking questions. And actually, if you ask enough questions, normally the human takes care of itself. Finding out new stuff, asking questions that people aren't expecting to hear. Anything at all that's going to bring a little bit of human, we can use that using blended learning, you know, bringing in the media, the videos, all that kind of stuff. But actually, that desire to understand those stories and to bring that relevancy, that interestingness, that naughtiness, those giggles into the classroom. Relevant, interesting, naughty, giggle. You learn using one of those, you're going to remember it. Learn using all 4 at once, you'll never, ever forget it. And in terms of keeping kids engaged constantly throughout learning environments, if we can bring one of those or all 4 of those in, it's going to make it a much more interesting place to be. The kids are going to buy into it, the hearts are going to be engaged, the heads will open up, and they will engage back.